Well, you guys on YouTube have spoken. You guys told me I could not part this car out with a frame that straight. And you know what? I kind of agree with you. It'd be a shame to scrap this car. It really would. It'd be a shame just to cut it apart and use it for parts. Everything on it's pretty straight, except the motor and the front 6 inches. And the back end. So we've done what I normally do. I've cut out the stuff I don't want. The cage I actually had to return because Buddy wanted to keep it. So I cut it out with the Sawzall, put it all off to the side, and he can come pick it up whenever he wants. Same as the window bar in the front. What we're going to do is we're going to pull this motor. We're going to put our 4-cylinder in. Now this motor here is the motor that I'm planning to put in. And this right here, the last time it ran, I was a little hard on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it a tune-up, not really a tune-up, but we're going to make sure there's no water in any of the cylinders because this is sat outside all winter, open header, nothing covered. I don't even know if it runs anymore from last year. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the plugs, try to turn it over, see if any water comes out, throw some transmission fluid into the cylinders, just try to cool them down. You guys seen the sparks coming off from the video? The timing belt is quite melted. I don't know if you can see that. Yep. Because it did get very hot. It got so hot it actually melted the timing cover. So we're going to probably put a new timing belt onto it. We got to put a new harmonic balancer because that one there actually melted in half. So there's quite a bit of stuff that has to be done to this before it goes in. And I'm just going to basically make sure that this thing still turns over. And if you guys are wondering, I won mini car and went into full size, got put in the corner and broke an axle. So the motor never actually died. The car just stopped moving. I did steal the harness off this, and I put it on that one. So I guess I'm going to have to put a different harness on this. That one right there is a 2000-2001, but I don't have any 2000-2001 standalone harnesses laying around, so I don't know which. I'm probably just going to take the harness back off that one and put it on this one. And then we can see if we can get this thing running. But yeah, that's my plan. We're going to take this out. We're not going to do it nicely because there's nothing that I really want to keep. Axles I've already cut with a torch. I'm going to go underneath and zip off all the motor mounts. I'm going to just basically pull, and whatever it hits, I got the torch ready to cut. I've already taken the Sawzall and gone through the engine harness because this is a V6. I don't care about it. I'm probably going to have to cut a bit of the rad support out to get the alternator by. The radiator is probably garbage. The fans are garbage. The AC is garbage. Yeah, I've already had a fire, so that's pretty par for the course here in Zach's workshop. We got to change the high pressure steering line. I want to take out all this electrical and the rest of the dash. I want to cut that bar off the passenger side because this one here is just going to be one of those cars we slap together and have ready to run. For bumpers, I'm probably going to put a rebar bumper because pretty much everywhere around me does not allow full size anymore, and the only people that allow square tubing is Thrill Show. And that might change for the 2020 season. I'm not really sure. Maybe I'll just cut it back and not put anything on it, or maybe I'll just leave it and wait to see what the rules say I can do. So let's get going at pulling this crappy motor out. So we got the V6 out. We put it on the back of the trusty engine mobile device, and we're going to go throw it in the back of the VW. So we drained out what I thought was all the oil, but there seems to be a little bit more coming out. Let's go, Tyler. Hit the brake. No, quiet. Quiet. Nice and easy. Don't let it fall over. Okay, so we're going to take this and go put it in the VW. Well, here we are at the VW, and he's going to try to come back into this. I think he's going to have to straighten up and try it once again. Can he do it in one shot? Oh, he's hit some ruts. You're not there yet. Okay, try to get a little straighter. Too big of a gap. You can do it, Tyler. As he drives over his only log in the whole yard, almost making the motor fall off. dirty, bud. Okay, let's dump this. Roll, toss, whatever you can. 1, 2, 3. Cut the Sierra that you can roll in with on. You won't cut that axle. Right into the seatbelt button.
Little notch.
She fits, she sits. Do you guys want some history on this car? This car here has been ran 3 times. It's been ran in a heat in 2018 in Erin, where it qualified for the feature in Erin, and then it was also ran in Bolt in 2019. Every time this car has been run, I have been in the ring with it. A guy I know, Devin Olson, built this car, and I used to run against Devin all the time. The first time I actually ran against Devin, he beat me. I got second, he got first. The second time I ran against Devin, I got second, he got first. The third time I ran against Devin, he got second. No, I got second, he got first. The fourth time I ran against Devin, I got first, he got second. And this car here was the 5th time I ran against Devin. And I did beat him again, and it was one of those turning points where, you know, you always go to one of those local shows and the guy always beats you. By able to start beating Devin, it means that I was getting better at the sport. So it's kind of cool that I was able to buy a couple of his cars. But anyway, this car here was built by Devin, and it was a V6. So we're going to do quite a bit of work to it. I'm going to take you a little bit of walk around it to show you some of the damage that I think I actually did to this car. And I'm going to go through some of my old footage and see if I can pull up some of the videos where this car was actually in the ring with me, and maybe some times where I actually hit it. So let's bring it down, and I'll show you some of the damages. So when Devin ran this car in Erin in 2018, we both looked at each other and gave each other the nod. Devin and I both had Camrys. We knew that we were both making it to finals. We ended up being in the same heat together. But we knew that we had tough cars. And we kind of left each other alone in the heat. And then in the finals, I really didn't even mess with him because I knew it was a tough car. But I knew he had the V6. And around me, V6s are good motors, but they get hot. And after the heat, I noticed that his radiator was out of the car. So I knew in the finals that he would actually get really, really hot in heat season. Erin's a small track that's usually very muddy. So it's actually really hard on motors and transmissions. So I just let time have its way on Devin's motor. And he was actually hitting people pretty hard. I seen him in the ring. He actually smoked me once really good. I remember that because I looked over and seen Devin and we smiled at each other. But I knew that the engine was going to be the downfall of this. And when it came down to the top 4 or 5, I just looked around and Devin was done because he told me that heat seized, and after it was done, they towed a lot of the cars out of the ring and his was actually able to start up and drive out. So that was that one. Most of the damage done in that one was at the back. So that's where most of this damage was done. You can tell by the amount of rust on it, it's been like this for a while. So Devin did use the back end quite a bit, and I'm pretty sure I buried my nose in my car in it once or twice. Now overall, the back end is going pretty good. The the passenger side is kind of folded up at the 12-inch mark that I like, and folded down around the 18-inch mark, so it's still coming up. But the problem is with this driver's side. It's kind of folded at the 18-inch, and then folded at the 12, and went down. So we're going to have to try to push the fold that it's doing right here up higher. But that is after we get the motor in it and driving it. But the speaker deck is still good. So that is why I'm willing to invest the time in this. The speaker deck is good. The rear seat area is good. So as far as I'm concerned, this is still a very viable car. And then in Bolton, Devin actually sold this car in 2018 to a buddy of mine, Glenn Hardy. Glenn Hardy ended up giving this car to a gentleman named Tanner to run, and he ended up taking it in full size in Bolton 2019. And all this damage right here, I am pretty sure was done by me. And the cage was... You had to cut out some of the cage to run at one of these shows, and then I hit it so hard that I smashed the cage off the dash, so they had to cut all that out. But this car here has been in the ring with me every time it has been ran, which actually feels pretty cool. And now the fact that I own it, it's a pre-ran Camry, so there's not a whole lot we can do with it, but there's a lot that I can do better to this car. The first thing I'm going to do better is the V6 is out, and a 4-cylinder is going to go in. Now I have to do a lot of testing to this motor to actually make sure it's a viable motor to go in, because this is sat outside all year with no cover. So we're going to see if this is a good motor. We got to do a spindle swap because those are V6 spindles. We got to put a little bit of a better cage. We got to put a gas tank holder into it. I want to rip out all this because it is not needed and is just getting in the ring. We're going to put an aftermarket shifter because we do have a Josh Archibald shifter. And the reason why I love these Josh Archibald shifters is because they're customized. It's got my number and name in it. So it's going to be going into this car. The motor's going to be going into here, everything like that. So this car here is actually going to be probably ready very shortly. We got to do some fixings. The top of the doors were not tied shut, so we're going to get these tied shut. Both sides are actually like that. Back doors are all welded, which is nice, but again, it limits where I can run it. Rear sub is good. You guys talked me out of using this for a parts car, so we're going to be investing quite a bit of time, but not a whole lot of money into this thing. Just trying to make it run and drive and be able to go into the ring 1 or 2 more times. Who knows? The number on this door might become 71 and not 171, so who do you think might be driving this car? And where? Coronavirus has actually canceled all the demolition derbies around me right now until mid-June, late June. So we'll have to see where it can run because all the derbies are being canceled. But I'm just going to stay out here and keep pounding away on these. But this is a build to come, guys. We're taking another guy's car and making it our own. So thanks for watching. We'll see you back here on Zach's Workshop tomorrow.